उन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone to today's Bhakti Shastri class. So today is a very auspicious occasion of Akshay Tritiya. Akshay Tritiya is a very well known all over world now, not only in India but all over the world. Akshay Tritiya is considered to be the one of the most auspicious occasion. And today you will find everyone in this India, everywhere, people will start purchasing gold. So people will start purchasing new gadgets, devices, vehicles. Today is the day when people purchase so many things. So I was just thinking, why people purchase gold today? Why people do purchase gold? So actually today is a day when a person is supposed to donate the gold. That is why people used to purchase gold. Today is a day when one should give lot of charity. It is said today is a day for a lot of charity. Any charity which is given today will have a long lasting effect. And that's why, but today it has become ulta only. People purchase sona and then they do only one thing, sona. That's all. They keep on sleeping. But today is a day when especially somebody is encouraged to give charity. So that is why Akshay Tritiya, any charity done today is called as it remains. Today is also, I think, a birthday of Akshay Prabhu. I don't know anyone Akshay Prabhu here. Akshay Prabhu is birthday of means Akshay Tritiya means Akshay Kumar. Sometimes we see Akshay Kumar, na? So not the hero Akshay Kumar, but Brahmaji has a son called as Akshay Kumar. That's why Akshay Kumar has come. So birthday of Akshay Kumar. Third thing today is there is birthday of very special personality, another avatar of the Lord. So all of us know Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre when we chant Dharma Kshetre. So why Kurukshetra is called as Dharma Kshetra? So I was surprised earlier कि why कुरुक्षेत्र को धर्म क्षेत्र बोला गया है. क्या था ऐसा कुरुक्षेत्र में. आज तो हमारे लिए धर्म क्षेत्र बन गया है. वो क्यों बन गया है? क्योंकि कृष्ण वहां पे युद्ध हुआ, सारे कौरवास पांडवास कृष्ण भगवान गीता बोले. दैट इज ओके. बट कृष्ण भगवान के समय में भी वो एक धर्म क्षेत्र था. तो ऐसा उधर था ही क्या कि जो धर्म क्षेत्र बन गया. तो उसका इतिहास आता है या परशुराम. So Lord Parshuram, he killed all so many Kauravas, generations and generations of Kauravas. And that time he made 5 lakes there. 5 lakes बनाए भगवान परशुराम ने वहां पर. तो 5 lakes का नाम था समंत पंचक. समंत पंचक नाम के लेक थे. और ये लेक साधारण लेक नहीं थे। ये लेक जो थे ये खून से बनाए हुए लेक थे। क्षत्रियों के खून से बनाए हुए 5 कुंड, समंत पंचक। कोई बोलेगा खून के लेक में उसमें ऑस्पिशियसनेस क्या है, तो गंदगी है पूरी। वाई? बट दैट इज मेड बाय परशुराम। सो वो प्लेस बहुत समय से होली प्लेस बन चुका था। आज खून नहीं है वहां पे, आज पानी है, लेकिन इट इज अ वेरी वेरी होली प्लेस. So today is birthday of Lord Parshuram also. That is auspicious occasion. Today is birthday of Ganga Mata also. Ganga Mata appeared into this world, especially in this Earth planet today. So today is that day also. Today is also Chandan Yatra beginning. So all the Lord Narsingadev, Ramuna, anywhere you go, today Chandan is being applied, and our Radha Rundan Chandra also Chandan Yatra will begin now. Lord, so आपके वॉइस में भी आप भगवान के लिए पंखा लगा सकते हो कम से कम आपके अल्टर के अंदर, ताकि भगवान को गर्म ना लगे। चंदन नहीं लगा सकते तो पंखा तो लगा ही सकते हो छोटा मोटा। सो चंदन यात्रा बिगिनिंग टुडे, and today is also Mahabharat beginning today. Mahabharat was written today. So such a auspicious occasion. And today is also another occasion of birthday of Kali Yuga today. Kali Yuga started today. All yugas start today. So it is said on 18 February the Kali Yuga started, whenever it was started. So 18 February is the birthday of Kali Yuga. So आज कलयुग अक्षय तृतीया के दिन होता है कलयुगा चालू। सारे युगा जो है वो कलयुग के दिन ही चालू होता है, मतलब सॉरी, सारे युगा अक्षय तृतीया के दिन चालू होता है। अगला सतयुग भी अक्षय तृतीया के दिन चालू होगा। So we can find today is such a auspicious day. And it is said why it is called as Akshay. Any resolution made today will have a long-term bearing effect. So for a devotee, we can make spiritual resolutions today. We can take resolutions of reading Srila Prabhupada books, chanting some extra rounds, or doing some more bhakti. So if any resolution is taken today, it will have a long, long-lasting effect. So Akshay Tritiya. So all of us know now we are in this fifth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We are discussing. So this fifth chapter of Bhagavad Gita begins with the confusion of Arjuna. So despite Krishna's explanation in chapter 3, Arjuna is still considering that work and renunciation to be something two different paths. Arjuna is thinking work is different and renunciation is different. Thus, in this chapter, Krishna is elaborating on how a person should work in Krishna consciousness. If somebody works in Krishna consciousness, he is the best of all sannyasi. He is better than sannyasi. That is what the true sannyasi. So this was the beginning of the fifth chapter. And if one engages in proper work, so how one should engage in the Krishna conscious work, and one should offer all the results of his activities to God. And one should keep the ultimate goal of pleasure of Lord in mind. And such a work becomes worship. So whenever we say work is worship, this is this kind of work. That ultimate goal is in our mind, and fruits are offered to the Lord. So for most of the people, renunciation is premature, and it is detrimental to sever themselves from worldly relationship. That's why the karma yoga or nishkam karma yoga, it is a step-by-step procedure offered to people to come to this platform. Otherwise, for many people, to work only for the pleasure of Lord, to work with by offering all fruits to the Lord, it's not so easy. And that's why it is said, slowly, 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 one should come. And there comes a verse, Padma Patra Ivam Bhasha, that if somebody works in this consciousness, it is like a lotus leaf which is untouched by water or any kind of contamination. So we find we also should learn this art of performing work. If we learn this art, then we also become like a lotus, not affected by any contamination. Nowadays, scientists, they are very impressed by this lotus, this word lotus. You see, you put a water on the lotus, the water does not stay on the lotus. If you put a dirt also on the lotus, it also goes away after some time. So scientists started feeling, if only we can understand the technology of the lotus, how lotus is able to remain like this. We said we can invent so many things. and they had a scientific experiments on lotus, and then they understood how much tension is required, how much elasticity is required, how much other properties are required, and now they have come up with lotus facades. Lotus facades means the top buildings. The buildings are made in such a way, very thousand hundred story building, 150-story building. How anyone will clean it? We cannot have a cleaning employee. We cannot have a painting again and again. 100 स्टोरी का बिल्डिंग को पेंटिंग कैसे करेंगे? तो ऐसा बिल्डिंग बनाना है जिसको धूल ही ना लगे. तो उन्होंने लोटस पे से रिसर्च करके लोटस फैकेट्स बनाए ताकि बिल्डिंग को धूल ही ना लगे, पानी भी ना लगे, कुछ ना लगे. So like this they have done. So in the first 12 verses of this chapter, the theme is continue your work, stay in this world. So what is a true sannyasi? Stay in the world. Don't worry about premature renunciation. He said, stay in the world. Now, verse number 13 to 16 of this chapter, they will speak about the concept of doers. How there are three doers. There are three kinds of doers engaged in all kinds of work. That is in the second theme of this chapter, verse number 13 to verse number 16. So it is said, while living in this world, generally we have tendency to assume that we are the director, we are the controller, and we are the winners, we are the enjoyers. So this is the consciousness which comes to everyone while performing the work. But reality is something different. In reality, Krishna explains there are three kinds of doers in any activity. So what are the three kinds of doer? Individual soul, super soul, and prakruti, that is material nature. So these three kinds of doers are there in any kind of activity which is done. So consider an example. Some criminal is put into jail. कोई चोर है, उसको जेल में डाला जा रहा है. तो तीन लोग इन्वॉल्व है इसमें, क्योंकि the desires of the criminal are the doers, because criminal did some wrong activity. That's why he's also doer. Police, police who is putting him behind the jail, he's also the doer. And Supreme Court or High Court or whatever district court or criminal court, they give the sanction that he should be put behind the jail or death sentence. So he's also the doer. So three kinds of doers are involved in any kind of activity. So it is Supreme Lord who sanctions. So this three kinds of doers concept is explained between verse number 13 to 16. Four verses, 13, 14, 15, 16. They explain the concept of three kinds of doers. So now, then Arjuna thinks, okay, super soul is residing in every living being. So how advanced spiritualist is able to see every life form, whether plant, whether animal, whether human, as the temple of God. It is said advanced. So those who are elevated people, though they can see God in everyone's heart. And all different bodies are just like different dresses. So this again, this concept, equal vision, Vidya Vinay Sampanne, but Brahmane Gavi Hastini, Shuni Chaiva Shapake Cha, Pandita Samadarshina. That how a devotee with an equal vision sees that super soul is residing in every living entity. This understanding comes in the verse number 17 to verse number 26. And the last section of this chapter is emphasizing upon you want to stay in the world, but understand one reality of this world. This world is a temporary place. This is not a permanent place. We have come to this world with nothing in the hand, and we will go out of this world with nothing in hand. So when you are staying in this world, don't claim proprietorship, neither enjoyership and neither controllership on anything of this world, because you are temporary. You are just like a guest in this world. Guest will never claim that this is my house. He will not much worry about setting the things right so much. He will just go to a hotel, or he will just go to hotel, do his part and go back. So that's why this world is like this. So if somebody understand this thing, Bhokta Ram Yage Tapasam Sarva Lokam Maheshwaram, so he said he will be very peaceful while staying in this world. Otherwise, those who are not in this consciousness will be always very disturbed. So I just gave a brief overview of verses 1 to 12. So there are four themes: how to stay in this world and how to do activities. Then the concept of three kinds of doers. Then what is the equal vision which a devotee should have, and how to attain everlasting peace. So these four themes this chapter is discussing. So we have an acronym called as STEP, STEP, taking one step towards Krishna. एक कदम कृष्ण की ओर. कदम ये acronym को याद रखना. STEP, stay in this world, three kinds of doers, equal vision, and peace, how to attain peace. So these four concepts are being primarily discussed in this chapter. Okay, so we go ahead. So which verse we are currently, bro? Last time we discussed on which verse?
Prabhuji, 11th was done.
Okay. So let's start from 5.12. Whose turn to read?
Vaibhav Prabhu.
Okay.
प्रभु जी मेरा है क्या?
Yes, Prabhu, here 12.
नहीं
No,
मेरा तो
sorry,
नहीं
sorry,
था
sorry. Darshan Prabhu is there.
So Darshan bro, you are ready?
Yes, प्रभु.
So you can even after text, you can also explain the connection with the previous verses. What is the connection of the shloka with the previous shloka, and also explain this 12th verse. Okay. You can start, Prabhu.
So in the previous
You can
verses,
recite the shloka, read the translation purport, then explain.
युक्त कर्म फलम त्वक्ता शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्ठिकम् अयुक्त काम कारेण फले तप्तो निबध्यते. Translation: the steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the result of all activities to me, whereas a person who is not in union with the divine, who is greedy for the fruits of his labor, becomes entangled. Purpose: the difference between a person in Krishna consciousness and a person in bodily consciousness is that the former is attached to Krishna, whereas the latter is attached to results of his activities. The person who is attached to Krishna and works for him only is certainly a liberated person, and he has no anxiety over the results of his work. In the Bhagavatam, the cause of anxiety over the result of an activity is explained as being one's functioning in the concept of duality, that is, without knowledge of the absolute truth. Krishna is the supreme personality, is the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead. In Krishna consciousness, there is no duality. All that exists is a product of Krishna's energy, and Krishna is all good. Therefore, activities in Krishna consciousness are on the absolute plane. They are transcendental and have no material effect. One is therefore filled with peace in Krishna consciousness, but one who is entangled in profit calculation for sense gratification cannot have that peace. This is the secret of Krishna consciousness. Realization that there is no existence besides Krishna is the platform of peace and fearlessness. So, till the previous verses, Krishna was explaining that, as Prabhuji also mentioned, that we have to stay in the world. That renouncing premature renunciation is not good. We should work in the spirit of renunciation. And Krishna in the previous verses is explaining various things like we should work without attachment, surrendering our results, and like he also gives the example of a lotus leaf. How lotus leaf is untouched with the water and everything. And also Krishna in the 11th verse, he says that he says the actual purpose or a motive of the action. The actual purpose of working is purification. Like one should work only for the purpose of purification. And the verse 12, Krishna is actually summarizing the previous verses. He is here stating the difference between the proper devotee in Krishna consciousness and a person in bodily consciousness. A person in Krishna consciousness is actually attached to Krishna. A person in Krishna consciousness is attached to Krishna and is actually liberated person. And he is totally he is a liberated person, and actually he has no anxiety over the results of his work. Actually, he neither hates nor he wants the fruits of the activity. He only does the activity for the pleasure of Krishna. Whereas the person in bodily consciousness is attached to the results of activities. Therefore, he is continuously in anxiety. And Prabhupada mentions that the cause of anxiety is that the person is acting in the dualities. And Prabhupada also mentions duality as the he has no knowledge of absolute truth, that he has no knowledge of Krishna. That's why he is acting. That is the conception of duality. Means Prabhupada says that in Bhagavatam, the cause of anxiety over the result of an activity is once functioning in the conception of duality, that is without the knowledge of the absolute truth. When there is no knowledge of the absolute truth, then we are functioning in the duality. And whenever we function in the duality, we have anxiety over the results of an activity, whether it is a success or failure. But Prabhupada says in the purport ahead that Krishna consciousness is on the absolute plane. It is above the dualities. Therefore, whatever work done in Krishna consciousness is all good. There are no material effects or material reactions for that work done in Krishna consciousness. And when there are no when the activity is done in Krishna consciousness, then actually uh, there are no material effects, and the devotee who is working in Krishna consciousness, he is in total he's on the platform of peace and carelessness. So that is the secret of Krishna consciousness. And so
Correct.
one
Yeah.
section ends on the
Yes, bro.
means on the in verse 12 the section 1 ends, and from verse 13 the jiva's role, Krishna will explain the jiva's role in all that thing.
Yeah, yeah. So verse 13 onwards, the doership, the three kinds of doers and all those things will come again. Now, yeah. So if you see in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is focusing on one thing. What is karma yoga and what is karma? So any action which is performed with attachment, it leads to bondage. And any action performed without attachment leads to mukti. So action is not the cause of bondage, but the consciousness in which action is performed decides whether bondage will come or not come. Action in itself may not be the cause of bondage. With what consciousness action is performed. So yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantin apnoti nashtakim. So he said ki how a devotee becomes very peaceful. How? When karma phalam tyaktva. So he said, when the karma phalam tyaktva is done, that the results of the fruits of results are renounced or given up to Krishna. Shanti apnoti nashtikim. So he'll be very, very peaceful. Such a person will be very peaceful. So we have to learn to be. So this is a verse we're speaking about that how a karma yogi he becomes very peaceful in his life because he's not greedy for the results. So we have to give up the greed. ग्रीड जो है बहुत डेंजर चीज है one has to give up the greed for the results. It is a greed which is cause of bondage. So consciousness matters. Okay, so now Krishna is going to go to the next section now and is going to explain about how so three kinds of doers. What are the three kinds of doers? It will come in the upcoming 4 or 5 verses. Okay, next. Whose turn, Prabhu? Please read.
Next is Vaibhav Pro 13 verse.
प्रभु जी मेरा 2 और 13 नहीं था शायद ये।
ठीक
मुझे
है
चालक में
अगर आपने नहीं किया है इफ यू आर नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड नॉट अ इशू ओके
So I will do because 14th is mine.
ओके प्लीज डू
सर्वकर्माणि मनसा संन्यासते सुखं वसु नैव द्वारे पुरे देहि नैव कुर्वन् कार्यम्. Translation. But when the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, the material body, neither working nor causing works to be done.
purpose question. But the embodied soul lives in the city of nine gates. The activities of the body or the figurative city of the body are conducted automatically by its particular modes of nature. The soul, although subjecting himself to the conditions of the body, can beyond those conditions if he so desires, owing only to forgetfulness of his superior nature. He identifies with the material body and therefore suffers by Krishna consciousness. By Krishna consciousness he can revive his real position and thus come out of his embodiment. Therefore, when one takes to Krishna consciousness, one at once becomes completely aloof from bodily activities. In such a controlled life in which his deliberation are changed, he lives happily within the city of nine gates. The nine gates are the nine gates are mentioned as follows: Nava Dware Pure Dehi, Hamso Lelayate Bahi, Vashi Sarvasya Lokasya, Sta Varasya Charasya Cha. The Supreme Personal Godhead, who is living within the body of living entity, is the controller of all living entities all over the universe. The body consists of nine gates: two eyes, two nostrils, two ears, one mouth, the anus, and the genitals. The living entity in his conditioned stage identifies himself with the body, but when he identifies himself with the Lord within himself, he becomes just as free as Lord, even while in the body. Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Therefore, Krishna conscious person is free from both outer and inner activities of the material body. So, basically, this is like a platform of knowledge where like the three doors are mentioned. One is soul, as you mentioned, soul, Paramatma, and then material natures. So here the whole body is considered into the nagri of the nine gates, where these nine gates resides, and the soul resides uh, in that body. So here Prabhupada was mentioning that it can be free from his karma when he identifies himself different from the body. But if he identifies himself with the body, then he has to go through all his karmic reactions. So basically, soul is the main person, main entities which impulse the desires based on his his desires or based on his swabhav. So he will impel the desires and then super soul will fulfill and then material nature will arrange all the things. So here Prabhupada was just mentioning that Krishna conscious person is free from both outer and inner activities of the material body once he identifies himself different from the body. So this is the concept related to 13th
Yeah,
chapter.
correct. So basically, here Arjuna is worried about karma sannyas. But Krishna is telling, don't take karma sannyas. Take manasa sannyas. Take manas sannyas. Manasa sannyas means what? Mentally renouncing all actions. Don't claim that you are actually, we are not doing. It is being done by Prakriti. We are only desiring. So in such a manner, everyone should be sannyasi. Mataji also should be sannyasi. Prabhuji also should be sannyasi. Everyone should be sannyasi. So when we are staying in this body, know very well that actually we are not the doers. If this understanding comes, if you really think very carefully about this, that are we really the doers? If we would have been the doers, कितना कॉम्प्लेक्स हो गया होता ना प्रभु. आज क्या कहते हैं, लंग्स को थोड़ा सा ये करो. आज ज्यादा आइसक्रीम खा लिया है मैंने, अब ये केमिकल सिक्रेट करो, ये करो, डाइजेशन प्रॉपर नहीं हो रहा है, ये नहीं हो रहा है. So many things to be done. But we generally, like, you see, the digestion system of human being is such an amazing thing. We only come to know that digestion is not working proper when it doesn't work properly. That time we realize that digestion system is in the picture. Generally the digestion system works very properly, then we don't come to know much. Okay, we just eat, we happily live. But when it fails working, we come to understand, oh, there is something gadbad. There is something beyond me. I don't want that. I should be in trouble, but there is something beyond me which is also there. So this is us. So a soul should realize this, and one should take manasa sannyas. Manasa sannyas means mentally renounce all the actions which are there. Mentally renounce all actions and happily live in the city of nine gates. So he said such a person is manasa sannyasi. Okay, so here the role of the soul is given in the doership. Okay, continue 14th one.
Yes. न कर्त्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभु न कर्मफलसंयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते. Translation question number one. The embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. Purport by Sri Prabhupada. The living entity, as will be explained in the seventh chapter, is one of the energies of or natures of the Supreme Lord, but is distinct from matter, which is another nature called inferior of the Lord. Somehow, the superior nature, the living entity, has been in contact with material nature since the time immemorial. The temporary body or material dwelling place which he obtains is the cause of varieties of activities and their resultant reaction. The living in such a condition atmosphere, one suffers the result of the activities of the body by identifying himself in ignorance with the body. It is the ignorance acquired from time immemorial that is the that is the cause of bodily suffering and distress. As soon as the living entity becomes aloof from the activities of the body, he becomes free from the reaction, as well as well. As long as he is in the city of nine body, he appears to be the master of it. But actually, he is neither its proprietor nor controller of its action and reactions. He is simply in the midst of the material ocean, struggling for existence. The waves of the oceans are tossing him, and he has no control over them. His best solution is to get out of the water by transcendental Krishna consciousness. That alone will save him from all turmoil. So here it's all like in the last words, they mentioned that he can peacefully be happy once he identify himself different from the body. And now here again Prabhupada was mentioning that again, even though identifying himself differently from the body is not sufficient, we have to understand that everything is enacted by the laws of nature under the guidance of super soul. So they are so he is not the he no one no can nothing can be done by the soul or no one can do inspiration to other people also to do any activities. So neither soul, neither himself or nor activities or nor does he induce people to act also. So it's all depends on the merchant. So Radheshwar, like in this verse, he mentions that he everything is does automatically by the modes of nature. So three modes enacts on us under the guidance of super soul. So for example, like when the teacher is taught to students, like 50 students are there, but some of them only become the toppers, some of them only become the uh, like mid average scorers. So project everything is under the boards. So nor people can induce to inspire other people also. So this thing was mentioning here. And Prabhupada was mentioning that we are since time immemorial in the contact of body. That's why we are in the ignorance. So ignorance is generally derived from that we are since time immemorial in contact with the body. So that's why we identify always with the body and we try to act accordingly. But Roja also says like body has karma. According to karma, we get the results. So actually, our body does the main karma, not the soul. Soul just induce, but it's all depends on the nature and the super soul also. And then Projo was mentioning if we want to imitate God, and that's why we are in this material world. So we came here to have this controllership mentality. But Projo was mentioning that we have given the enough independence and free will, but under some circumstances, like there is a king, so king has his son. So sometimes son also gets some area to rule, but with the conditions of his fathers or with the same rules of his father. So he can't go against the laws of his father. So if he goes, then everything will be messed up. So that's how Projo, like here, the points of three modes of material nature comes that he is the actual doer.
Hmm. So last verse was speaking about the role of the soul,
So
how Jiva is the doer. And now in this shloka, how the material nature is the doer. That is being spoken here. That what is the role of material nature? What is the role of soul? And then the next shloka will speak about what is the role of the Lord here. Bhagwan ka kya kaam hai? So If you see Swabhav, what is meaning of Swabhav? Swabhav means material impressions which come. So all of us carry certain material impressions in our life. They are called as vasanas. Vasanas means वास बोलते हैं ना, बास मारता है बास. तो बास ऐसा एक चिपक जाता है. So similarly, material impressions, they get stuck upon us. And why these material impressions come? It becomes the impressions are there because when we identify jiva with the material body and senses, this vasanas come. So in this verse mainly, what is the role of material nature? So yesterday I was taking one presentation on one nice topic, and this is connected here. I thought to just share this very vital understanding which we should have here. Uh, okay, I'll just show you one. So there is one very beautiful topic. You might have heard this topic many times, but very vital to have this understanding very clear. Do we make our destiny, or does destiny make us? क्या हम अपना डेस्टिनी खुद बनाते हैं, या डेस्टिनी में सब कुछ लिखा है और हम एक कठपुतली के समान एक्ट करते हैं? ये बहुत बड़ा लोगों को मतलब कंफ्यूजन रहता है इसके बारे में. ये एग्जैक्टली डेस्टिनी नाम का जो कंसेप्ट है वो है क्या? So this is a very vital concept to be known. Do we make our destiny, or does destiny make us? So once upon a time, one student, when he was giving question, one discussion was happening. She was telling, do astrologers make our destiny? Because it appears that astrologers are making our charts and all, and then they tell. So it's a astrologers don't make our destiny. Astrologers, they are just giving the forecast of our destiny. Like there is a weather forecast. So today it is going to be very hot. Tomorrow it is going to rain. Tomorrow cyclone is going to come. So astrology and all these planetary influences, they give indication. Okay, this is the way things are going to be based on your planet situations. So, but it is not compulsory that it may happen. So why astrology is given? It is to give a warning to us. It is not to threaten us. It is a warning given to us. Oh, some tough period is going to come in your life based on your planetary situation. So, but sometimes we find that forecast also fails. Even if it says that there is going to be rain, but it does not rain. Many times it happens like that. And similarly, astrology says that some difficult time is going to come, but it does not come apparently. So what exactly is the destiny? So if you want to understand this concept of destiny, I'm just giving you one small acronym by which you can understand. This is a Chaitanya Charan Prabhu explains this in a very nice manner. Fate. Fate, fate. Hmm? So see this one. F for destiny. To understand the concept of destiny, one should first understand that there are factors beyond his own control. That there are so many factors which are beyond our control. That should be understood. इसको बड़ा कैसे करने का? Yeah. Fate. There are factors beyond his own control. Now, and we can, how to understand this? We can do some analysis. And transcend. And fourth is expertise. So now, if you see the concept of destiny, there are so many factors which are beyond our control in the matter of doing activity. Recently, there was an interview by Elon Musk. He was a little depressed. He was a little frustrated because he is like a big achiever in the world. He was telling recently they launched a SpaceX mission to Mars. So last 15-20 times he has been sending the SpaceX mission, and it has been thoroughly frustrated to Mars. So recently they made a very special aircraft, but which got totally blasted just within few kilometers only. So he was a little depressed. He said, I'm just waiting that when I will be able to establish colonies in the Mars. I want to establish a residential society in the Mars. This will be the name of that society. He wants to name society. He has given name, Karan. Everything is done. But recently he was depressed and was saying that it seems that there are certain factors which are beyond our control. So all of us, we understand there are factors beyond our control in the matter of achievements in the life. So many people study in the same college, but they don't get the same result. So many people applied to Canada, America. They went to America, Canada. So recently it happened that so many students had gone to Canada, America for their higher studies, but the government changed the policies. And now, despite of going to America, they are not getting job there. Despite of going to Canada, they are not getting job there. So first thing we have to understand is there are factors which are beyond our control. That is a destiny wala part. Like when you travel in the ship. So ship, there is a ship driver. There is a ship driver who can drive, ship captain. But there are certain factors which are beyond. Like in the aeroplane also they tell, हवा अच्छी बह रही है. This is like that. सब कुछ ऐसा है. So there are so many factors which are beyond our control. This is when one has to understand first this. Now, when we understand this, then there comes that there are two concepts. One is called as karmavad and one is called as daivavad. Karmavad means what? We only do work, we do work, and we only get the result. Whatever work we will do, we'll get that kind of result. That is called as karmavad. And daivavad means what? Daivavad means, oh, we are not the doers. It is only ultimately everything happening by the desire of God only. Like Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra had a daivavad mentality. He was telling, although he was responsible for the work, he made lakhs and lakhs of people killed in the Kurukshetra battle. But he said, ultimately भगवान की इच्छा है तो होके रहेगा, सारे पांडवास जीत जाएंगे, कोई मर के रहेगा. अरे, but he had action. He had something to be done. But so that is daivavad. So if somebody is only karmavad, he will get depressed. And somebody who is daivavad, he may become lazy at the moments. So both are not proper. So so it is said, there is one very nice statement which Maharaj says, how to live in this world. Accept the things that cannot be changed. Alter the things that can be changed. You can see this statement. This is a very beautiful statement. Accept the things which cannot be changed. So there are certain things in our life which cannot be changed now. This is the way it is there. We cannot change it. And there are certain things which can be changed. Try to modify those things in our life. This is the way we can understand the destiny. Like Lord Ramchandra. Lord Ramchandra, when he was sent to exile by Dashrath Maharaj, he could have said, oh, he accepted as a bhagya. He did not retaliate. Oh, I want to change. No, I want to become the king, and I want to change. I'll do something jugad. So he accepted those things which are like bhagya. But when Sita was kidnapped, Lord Ramchandra did not think, oh, it is by bhagya. Sita is kidnapped. He is kidnapped by Ravana. What we can do? Ultimately, everything is happening by bhagya. So no, he altered it. He went there, brought back Sita back to Ayodhya. So you see, this is to be understood. Where we should accept it as bhagya, and where we have to know, we have to change it. So this is a very important concept when we understand destiny, the concept of destiny. What are those things which we should change? And so something which cannot be changed, don't worry, accept it. And some things that is possible in the domain, try to change it. Now, there comes another concept that is called as transcend. Why I'm taking this analogy right now here is transcend. Transcend means what? We have to know one thing for sure. All this karma and astrology and material nature, they all apply to our material bodies. The material bodies and the ego which we have acquired. But soul is transcendental. Soul is not affected by all this karmic reactions also. Soul is beyond all these things. So now what kind of facilities, like somebody will get Mercedes Benz. So karma or destiny determines consequences of actions, but not action itself. सो डेस्टिनी जो है, हम ऐसा काम करेंगे तो क्या रिजल्ट आएगा ये बता सकता है, बट एक्शन, हम क्या एक्शन करेंगे ये डेस्टिनी में नहीं लिखा है। हम एक्शन का चॉइस हमारे पास है। जैसे किसी को मर्सिडीज बेंज मिली, किसी को लूना मिली। कोई व्यक्ति मर्सिडीज बेंज को लेके बार में जाएगा, पब्स में जाएगा। कोई लूना को लेके कंपनी जाएगा। और ये तो दिस इज ऑल अप टू अस। So what kind of facilities which we have got in our life, that is now destiny. But how we will use this facility, this is up to us. So at any moment of time, we are transcendental. We are transcendental to all these laws. So we have to understand that soul is beyond all these things. We are transcendental. So at any given moment of time, one can do bhakti. There is no barrier to doing bhakti. Like we know Sridhar Kolavecha. Sridhar Kolavecha was like uh, he had no money. He was very beggar, pauper. He had hundreds of reasons to say that my job is not stable, my career is not stable, my profession is not stable, my mind is not stable. No, even in such a state like Sridhar Kolavecha, he was able to perform bhakti nicely. So we are, at any given moment of time, there is no excuse to say that these things are not proper in my life. That's why I cannot do bhakti. So we are transcendental. Bhakti can be performed beyond astrology, beyond karma, beyond destiny, and expertise. A devotee needs to know expertise. Expertise means the art of adjustment. So what this statement which I said, no, alter, accept the things which cannot be changed. So you should learn to adjust with this and alter the things that alter things that can be changed. This is called as expertise of dealing with a devotee. So here we are seeing three things in working. One is called as jiva, one is prakruti, and one is super soul. So these three things together work. So this is the concept of three kinds of doers. Okay, so now comes the super soul wala section. How super soul is also the doer. 15th verse.
Prabhuji, 15th verse is Sanket Chaudhary Prabhu is absent.
Okay,
16th
six.
is Onkar Prabhu.
Okay. Omkar bro, you can read.
Yes, Guruji. नादते कस्यचित् पापं न चैव सुकृतं विभुव अज्ञानावृत् ज्ञानं तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तव. Translation. Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which cover their real knowledge. Purport. The Sanskrit word Vibhu means the Supreme Lord, who is full of unlimited knowledge, riches, strength, fame, beauty, and renunciation. He is always satisfied in himself, undisturbed by sinful or pious activities. He does not create a particular situation for any living entity, but the living entity, bewildered by ignorance, desires to be put into certain conditions of life, and thereby his chain of action and reactions begin. A living entity is by superior nature full of knowledge. Nevertheless, he is prone to be influenced by ignorance due to his limited power. The Lord is omnipotent, but the living entity is not. The Lord is Vibhu or omniscient, but the living entity is Anu or atomic. Because he is living soul, he has the capacity to desire by his free will. Such desire is fulfilled only by the omnipotent Lord. And so, when the living entity is bewildered in his desires, the Lord allows him to fulfill those desires. But the Lord is never responsible for the actions and reactions of the particular situation which may be desired. Being in a bewildered condition, therefore, the embodied soul identifies himself with the circumstantial material body and becomes subjected to the temporary misery and happiness of life. The Lord is the constant companion of the living entity as Paramatma or the super soul, and therefore he can understand the desire of the individual soul, as one can smell the fragrance of a flower by being near it. Desire is a subtle form of conditioning for the living entity. The Lord fulfills his desire as he deserves. Man proposes and God disposes. The individual is not, therefore, omnipotent in fulfilling his desires. The Lord, however, can fulfill all desires, and the Lord, being neutral to everyone, does not interfere with the desires of minute independent living entities. However, when one desires Krishna, the Lord takes special care and encourages one to desire in such a way that one can attend to him and be eternally happy. The Vedic hymns therefore declare, Esha yu ha eva sadhu karma karayati tam yam ebhyo lokebhyo uni nipsate. Esha Esha yu eva sadhu karma karayati yam adho ninishate. The Lord engages the living entity in pious activities so that he may be elevated. The Lord engages him in impious activities so that he may go to hell. Kaustiki Upanishad. Similarly, the Mahabharata states,
अग्न्यो
"Arjuna,
जन्तुर्निशोऽयम् आत्मनः सुखदुःखयो ईश्वरो प्रेरितो गच्छेत् स्वर्गं वासु अभ्रम एव च.
the living entity is completely dependent in his distress and happiness. By the will of the Supreme, he can go to heaven or hell, as a cloud is driven by the air. Therefore, the embodied soul, by his immemorial desire to avoid Krishna consciousness, and causes his own bewilderment. Consequently, although he is constitutionally eternal, blissful, and cognizant due to the littleness of his existence, he forgets his constitutional position of service to the Lord and is thus entrapped by nescience. And under the spell of ignorance, the living entity claims that the Lord is responsible for his conditional existence. The Vedanta Sutras also confirms this. वैश वैश्मय नैर्गण्ये न सापेक्षत्वत् तथा ही दर्शति. The Lord neither hates nor likes anyone, though he appears to.
Yes, bro.
Just a second. Just a second, please. Prabhuji, in this purport, it is mentioned that Lord is not responsible for the activities of the doer, although the living condition souls blames the Lord for his uh, misery or happiness because he is not in the full knowledge.
Correct.
Although here it's because living entity is bewildered and he desires that he wants something, then d- although Prabhuji not able to explain properly, Prabhu.
No problem.
Mm,
You might have prepared 16th verse, no? That's
yes,
why.
Prabhu.
So basically here, the role of Lord. What is the role of the Lord is given here, and how ignorance it bewilders every living entity. So here in this shloka, it is mentioned the three kinds of doers which we are studying now. How Supreme Lord is the witness and sanctioner of everything. He's just a witness, like a high court judge. He's witness and sanctioner. Okay, do this, don't do this. But one should not think that Lord, because Supreme Lord judge has sanctioned certain thing, he's responsible for it. No, he doesn't assume anyone sinful. So when the High Court judge orders punishment for someone, it is not that he is sinful. Or when High Court judge says no, he should get this much profit, it is not that he gets any kind of punya for that. So the Supreme Lord or Paramatma is beyond this punya and papa. He's just a witness and sanctioner. But what happens that living entity thinks that it is because of Lord such things are happening. No, it is Lord is a sanctioner. Super soul can understand the desires of every living entity. So example is given here of a smelling the flavor of the flower. So just by smelling the flower, one can see, okay, this is this flower, this is champa, this is mogra, and this is jasmine. We can immediately smell just by being near to it. Similarly, as Paramatma is situated very near to our heart, Paramatma knows each and every of our desires. So whatever desires we are making right now, Paramatma has already noticed it. So it is said Paramatma is so close to us. So man has many, a person may make a different plans, but God will sanction it or not sanction it, depending on our adhikar, whether we deserve that. So it is said that God is a sanctioner and he knows each and every of our minute desires, which we are made in all the different bodies, in the cat body, dog body, rat body, this body, that body, whichever body we have been, and whatever desires are stored in our mind and senses and body and ego, all those desires, whatever we have been carrying in the mind, they are very well known by super soul, and super soul sanctions those desires at right time. So that is what the role of the Lord here is. So 16 verse, so soul desires, super soul sanctions, and Prakriti fulfills. So I think so. Okay, we'll just take the 16th verse and then we'll open for question. So this will take after 16 verse. I think the one theme will get over. That is the knowledge of three doers. That will get over. So after 16th verse, we'll pause. 16th verse.
ज्ञानेन तु तद् अज्ञानम् येषं नशितम् आत्मनः तेषाम् आदित्यवत् ज्ञानं प्रक्षयति तत्परम्. Translation: When, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which science is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything, as sun lights up everything in the daytime. Purport: Those who have forgotten Krishna must certainly be bewildered, but those who are in Krishna consciousness are not bewildered at all. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvam Jnana Plavena Jnanagnya Sarva Karmani and Nahi Jnanena Shadrasham. Knowledge is always highly esteemed. And what is that knowledge? Perfect knowledge is achieved when one surrenders unto Krishna, as is said in the 7th chapter, 19th verse. Bhavanam Janmanam Ante Jnanavanmam Prapadayate. After passing through many births, when one perfect in knowledge surrenders unto Krishna, or when one attains Krishna consciousness, then everything is revealed to him, as everything is revealed by the sun in the daytime. The living entity is bewildered in so many ways. For instance, when he uncriminiously thinks himself God, he actually falls into the last snare of nescience. If a living entity is God, then how can he become bewildered by nescience? Does God become bewildered by nescience? If so, then nescience or Satan is greater than God. Real knowledge can be obtained from a person who is in perfect Krishna consciousness. Therefore, one has to seek out such a bona fide spiritual master and under him learn what Krishna consciousness is. For Krishna consciousness will certainly drive away all nescience as the sun drives away darkness. Even though a person may be in full knowledge that he is not this body but is transcendental to the body, he still may not be able to discriminate between soul and the super soul. However, he can know everything well if he cares to take shelter of the perfect bona fide Krishna consciousness, conscious spiritual master. One can know God and one's relationship with God only when one actually meets a representative of God. A representative of God never claims that he is God, although he is paid all the respect ordinarily paid to God because he has knowledge of God. One has to learn the distinction between God and the living entity. Lord Krishna therefore stated in the second chapter 2.12 that every living being is individual and that the Lord is also individual. They were all individuals in the past. They are individuals at present and they will continue to be individuals in the future, even after liberation. At night, we see everything as one in the darkness, but in day, when the sun is up, we see everything in its real identity. Identity with individuality in spiritual life is real knowledge. in this purport, an example is given that when sun is up, then there is no darkness. Similarly, when one is knowledgeable, then the bewilderment that comes without light, it goes up. So here also it is stated in the purport that after many births, when uh, when one gets perfect knowledge, he surrenders unto Krishna. And even when someone gets knowledge, still he is confused between the soul and super soul. And some of the persons who claim to be god, because they have not so because their knowledge is not perfect. So, in that case, a guru is required, who is the bona fide spiritual master, because a guru knows what is right and what is wrong, and he can only shows the path to Krishna. Even there is then one verse that natvam evam jatunasham na tvam neme janadip na chaiva na bhavishyami sarva vayam atha param. Here Krishna states that every living entity is individual, because those who have imperfect knowledge, they think that they are only the god, or the ultimate aim of life is to go into the Brahman effulgence. So, and after many births, they come to the real knowledge, because after fall down and all that, that this is not this is not the right path. So by the grace of the guru only, we can come to the real knowledge.
Yeah. So here, this is the concept of three doers has been explained, as in our Omkar Prabhu mentioned. The concept of guru, how when somebody gets a guru, he gets real knowledge, and when real knowledge comes, his life becomes very enlightened one. So getting knowledge of individuality in spiritual life is the real knowledge. So now, my question to all of you, this ends the section of three doers. So I have one question for all of you. You can write in chat box, or you can answer, or you can raise your hands and unmute and speak also. How do you think that the knowledge of the three doers, or getting the real knowledge, changes your life? How it will impact your life? That you get the knowledge of three doers in your life, what changes, how it will change your life? Okay, Abhinandan, true.
Just to like, earlier we used to think that like, as you also explained this predestiny part, like it is always like what complex of like how destiny is working actually. But once we know, but as their devotee doesn't become the laziness here. So they will be followed the karmavad also, daivavad also in a proper manner, and balancing both they will proceed at. So the frustration with the respect to the situations will be less distress, anxiety, and they can perform nicely their that prescribed duties very well with the
Hmm.
devotional service.
Yeah. Okay, so you meant to say we're able to work very properly when this knowledge comes. Okay, Kaushik, bro.
Uh, Prabhuji, just as you told about Karmavad and Daivavad, so Karmavad makes one crazy, like he feels depressed when things are not going, and Daivavad makes one lazy. So both laziness and craziness will go when one will understand the knowledge of these three doers. Because when things will not go according to him, then he will understand that there is some higher power which is acting, and finally Lord is the doer. And when the things are going according to his desire, he will also understand that the Lord is satisfied. So in both cases, he will neither become proud or very much elated, neither he will feel depressed, and he will be means like doing his activities without attachment or without aversion, and he will feel happiness in the higher self, means in the activities of the soul. So in this way, Prabhuji, this knowledge will help us.
Beautiful. Nicely explained. Okay, any other devotee would like to say? How okay, apart from this, how the knowledge of three doers will change your life? You just understand this knowledge of three doers, that soul is there, karma, prakriti is there. This, how it will change your life if we really understand. Oh, some devotees are given in the chat. When we get the Darshan Prabhu is writing, when we get the knowledge, then we'll give up useless endeavor. Yeah, we'll give up useless endeavor an endeavor only for what actually matters. Okay, very good. Thank you, Prabhu. Karthik Prabhu is writing, we will act without attachment if we understand this knowledge of doers. Okay. Any other devotees would like to say something? How it can change your life, totally change your life, if we understand the knowledge of three doers.
Prabhuji, we will become sober and we can do what is needful to do.
Okay. As Darshan Prabhu said, okay, correct. Any other devotees? Just think, you have understood the knowledge of three doers today. So you're going to job now. Okay, Kunal Prabhu.
Raji will consciously do everything we are doing, and will understand that we will be dependent on Lord also, not just that thinking that I can do on my own prowess, and this ways will always be peaceful and happy in this life as well.
You'll be very peaceful and happy. Okay, thank you. Naresh Prabhu is writing, when we get this knowledge, we'll be situated in the happy position, like child in the lap of mother. Rebo. Bindas, bindas position. Krishna Das, bindas. Maya Das, Sada Udas. Karthik Prabhu is writing, will become happy and perform duties without thinking much of the results. Currently results. इतना results के पीछे पड़े हैं ना हम. Results के बिना एक्टिविटी करने की इच्छा ही नहीं होती है कोई भी. तो ऐसा लगता है कि अगर कोई रिजल्ट मिलने नहीं रहा तो क्यों एक्टिविटी करूं. इतना ही हो चुका है. बट ड्यूटी प्लेटफॉर्म जो है वो बॉन्डेज को नहीं लाता है. भगवान ने बोला है लेट मी डू दिस एज अ ड्यूटी just for the pleasure of the Lord. This is a very high elevated platform. So yeah. Okay, Kaushik, you want to say something else? Okay, this knowledge will make us humble also. Yeah, this knowledge will make us humble, that we are not the doers, will not become unnecessarily proud when we get achievements in the life. So you see, this knowledge of three doers is a very revolutionary concept which Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita, which can change the way of we are working in our life every day. So, and you can take big risks for also for the Lord. Srila Prabhupada knew this concept very much. Srila Prabhupada said, okay, I can just desire. I want to desire that I want to go to America and preach to fulfill the desires of my Guru. How things will come, how resources will come, how money will come, that is the task of Guru. That is the name, that is the task of Prakriti. If Lord sanctions it, so I have to do something which Lord will happily sanction. So there are certain things which Lord will happily sanction. He will be very happy to sanction those things. So what are those things which Lord will happily sanction? If you just desire, Lord is always very eager to sanction it. Can you give certain things like that, which you are confident that Lord will, like when you go to your parents, you know certain things parents will not sanction. But certain things, if you ask, Lord will, if certain things you ask, parents will say no permission required. It is already sanctioned. Just act it. So, okay, Akshay Prabhu is writing association of devotees. Lord will happily sanction it. Serving his dear devotees. Okay, so he make a desire to serve the dear devotees. Lord will sanction it. Make a desire to get association of the devotees. Lord will sanction it. Make a desire to chant the holy names. Lord will sanction it. So we have to make right desires. We will know how to make right desire. Okay, Rohan Prabhu is writing that I want to go to particular dham. Desire to go to particular yatra. Lord will sanction it. Hari bol. So let's make a desire to go to Kartik yatra or whichever place you're going. Lord will sanction it. We want to preach the message of Lord. If we desire that way, Lord will hopefully sanction it and material nature will facilitate it. So we have to make right desires. So let's make right spiritual desires and get the sanction of the Lord and be happy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So all devotees can just give their darshan for 30 seconds. They can switch on the cameras for 30 seconds, then we'll stop. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्ण. अक्षय तृतीया महोत्सव की जय. Hare Krishna. So let's do some charity today. So today is the best day to do some charity. So we can do a charity of holy names. Hare Krishna.